The organization opposing tax abuse is calling for a boycott of SAA. Outer's Wayne Duvenage joins us now for more on this. Wayne, of course, there's been some time to dissect the announcement that you've made about going abroad and effectively, calling for disinvestment in SAA. I don't know if I'm capturing it correctly there, and you'll correct me where I'm wrong. What exactly is the motive behind this?
Well, the motive is that SAA has run up a 29 billion rand loss over the last decade or so, and government continues to want to invest in a failing airline. We don't believe that this is in the best interests of the country. We've got bigger issues to deal with. This is an entity that operates in a very complex and competitive environment where government has proven it cannot operate, and we need to get out of non-core businesses. Government should be enabling the airline industry to be competitive. It should be able to make sure that new international carriers can operate from here. But as an investor and as equity shareholder in a state-owned entity like SAA, we believe it's time to get out. And now with COVID, and we've been grounded for so long, is the best time to do so.
So what do you want the international community to do?
Well, the international community, everybody, we're saying that if government isn't going to heed the call of the public, who are tired of bailing out state-owned entities, failing ones that are non-core, it's not as if we're calling for a boycott of Eskom, for instance. Eskom is critical to the economy of this country, and it's too big to fail. But SAA we don't need. We don't need Denel. We don't need a number of state-owned entities where the government has previously invested in and run these organizations into the ground. So if the state doesn't want to listen to its people, then its people must bring other pressures, and one of those is a boycott. In other words, we are encouraging everybody not to fly, both here and internationally, international tour operators, businesses. Do not fly SAA. If government then starts to realize the danger in a further reduction in its market share, which is very low, by the way, right now, then they might get the message and reverse these poor decisions, which is to invest in an airline. We have got bigger issues, as I said earlier, to deal with in this country. We don't have these resources at hand, and we should not be taking money away from departments that need these funds in order to deal with social economic issues.
Of course, there isn't necessarily unanimity in those who, in terms of the view of what should become of SAA. So there are people who have been amenable to the fact that this money will be used to wind down the rescue process, and SAA will be given a new leaf effectively to come up as a different entity with different share schemes or whatever that organization is going to look like.
Well, they've spoken about private equity shareholders for some time. We've seen nothing of that. We don't believe the figures that the business rescue plan has put forward for the 10.5 billion rand. They exclude another 2 billion rand to deal with the subsidiaries of SAA, which is Mango, SAA Technical, and Air Chefs. It doesn't account for what we believe between 6 and 10 billion rand losses over the next few years as well, which we're going to ultimately bail out again. So we're not saying don't have a local airline. A local airline should be given license to operate on an international basis, but the government must stay out of it. So let private investors get on with launching airlines, and let government get out of bailing out airlines for the future. We don't believe as well, and we're not naive to the fact that there is going to be a wind-down cost, probably more than the 10.5 billion. But as we've said, the 10.5 billion doesn't cover all the costs anyway. And if it is 18.5 or even 20 billion rand, as the minister indicates, then that's the cost to wind down. But it's over and done with, and we believe that that should be the option that government takes.
All right. Wayne Duvenage is with Outer. Thanks for your time on the